Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live. And today I'm going to show you how I made a fun card with the More Than Autumn stamp set bundle, which is one of the new bundles from Stampin' Up's mini catalog. Which is starting, demonstrators can pre-order from it now, but it's officially September 4th when customers can order from it. So you'll be able to get your hands on this very soon if you're not a demonstrator yet. But yeah, it's a cute little stamp set bundle, and looks like it's finally refreshing here. I was gonna say I'm trying to give it a second here, make sure that I'm actually live out on YouTube and get things straightened out like I usually have to do before every video starts. Because yeah, I don't know, it's terrible trying to get everything lined up when before I get started. It looks like it's all straight, and then I turn on the camera, and then it's all sorts of crazy. So, all right. So let's chat just a minute about the new stamp set. So this is the card we're making. It's actually, I've posted the details on my blog today. And once I get done with the video, I'll go and link back and make sure that the direct link to the project is out there on the post, or out there in the description of the video for this one. But I'm announcing something that's a little fun tomorrow on my blog, so that's why I'm doing the video today for the card that I posted today. Normally I kind of do it the other way around, post a video and then post the card the following day, but change things up a little for this time around. And I'm back to my normal time at 2 o'clock, and I think moving forward I'm going to be able to stick with the 2 o'clock time frame unless there's something that happens. You know, things happen sometimes and I have to change it. But I think we're kind of done with all the summer crazy. School starts next week for my daughter, so I think we're okay 2 o'clock moving forward. So that is my tentative plan. If anything changes, I'll post it on my Facebook page. So I see Judy and Robin and Melanie and Pam and Gail and Mary Ellen, Beth, Sherry, Gina, Karen, Kathy, Nancy, Drew, everybody, thanks for hopping in today. I appreciate you being here. And Sally's here as well. So again, this is a fun new stamp set that will be available for customers to order starting on the 4th of September. Demonstrators can pre-order it now. And I love that it's, as the title says, More Than Autumn. So it's definitely got some fall and autumn themed images and sentiments in it, but it also has some things that are Christmassy related or winter related. So there's peppermint and little candy cane image and gingerbread. So it's a really cute little set, and it has a great set of dies. So the open dies here cut out your stamped images. We're going to be using this one today. That cuts out the mug. This one cuts out the whipped cream, the marshmallows, all the little, there's the heart and the gingerbread man, the pumpkin. What else have we got on here? Candy cane is that one. I don't know. So lots of different, pretty much everything you can stamp, you can cut out with one of the dies. So I think everything you stamp, you can cut out with one of the dies, because there's the pie and the donut. So I think we're all good. And then there are a bunch of sentiments in here. This one is nothing's better than, and then we've got a little coffee and a little latte, which you can put on the coffee cup if you wanted to do that. And then we've got just, fun sentiments: apple, pumpkin, hot spice, season, and cocoa. So all sorts of cute things. If you're using these, and probably this and these, you will probably want to use your adhesive sheets. I use the larger images today, so I'm just using glue dots to stick them down. But as you're stamping with this set, and creating your sentiments particularly, just make sure that you're using those adhesive sheets on the back. It's so much easier to deal with the skinny little die cuts like this if you use those. So just stick them on the back of your cardstock, then die cut like you normally would, and it turns the cardstock into a sticker, and they're awesome. So, all right. So this is the bundle, and like I said, it'll be available to order starting on September 4th. Customers can order it then. Demonstrators can order it now and add it to their pre-order. If you are a demonstrator. If you're not a demonstrator, you can also add it as part of your starter kit, which is an awesome deal too. So if you have questions about being a demonstrator and have an interest in getting your hands on this product early, just holler at me. I'll be happy to chat with you more about it. So just a couple more people have hopped in: Rosie, Marilyn, Melanie, Bonnie, everybody, thanks for joining today. And I missed Gina, I think, too. So although maybe I said hi already, I don't know. So, all right, I did use this little die here. This is from the Something Fancy dies. This is a die set that's been around for a little while. It's in the current annual catalog from Stampin' Up, but I did use this one to cut the sentiment. So let me set that aside. A couple things before we get going here. Designer Series paper sale is going on now. Stampin' Up has 15% off 14 different packs of Designer Series paper from their annual catalog. So make sure you're taking a look at those. None of the specialty papers are on sale, but all the rest of the kind of standard Designer Series paper packs are. And there are lots of good ones in there. Love the little Lily Pond Lane, Country Wood is one of my favorite ones. The Mediterranean Blooms is really pretty. What else have we got on here? Thoughtful Journey is another great great pack of paper. So lots of good ones to choose from. I use them all the time. All right, bonus days. Don't forget to redeem your bonus days coupons if you earn them during the month of July. And you got those $5 off coupons, make sure you get them applied to an order before the end of August so that you don't lose out on those. And you can use $5 off coupons if you're buying the designer series paper. So that's like a double bonus. You can pick up some stuff and save the extra $5 on it. So. And then online exclusives, just wanted to run through these. I actually did use some of this paper, which is the Iconic Celebrations paper. It's a 6x6 pack. That is an online exclusive, so I used that in my card today. And these items are available now to order through, again, when you log in or go into the Stampin' Up! Store, just go in and click on the little menu up there on the top left. And then you'll see online exclusives is one of the tabs underneath there. And there's tons of stuff out there. This is just a very small sampling of the items that are currently available. So go take a look at that anytime you're placing an order. All right, let's get going. Of course, the minute I start talking, my nose starts dripping. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have got a card base that is crumb cake. Just your standard card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4 down the middle. And then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that's cut to about 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then this again is from the Iconic Celebrations Designer Series paper. It's a couple different pieces from it. That paper is really awesome because it kind of covers, again, across all seasons from fall through Christmas, and there's even some kind of Valentine-y, New Year's Eve kind of paper too. So it covers lots of seasons, kind of everything from now through Valentine's Day is covered in that pack. So if you don't have it already, you need to get a pack of it because it's cute. And it's, again, 6x6 paper. So you get 4 of each of the sheets of paper in the pack. The 2 little edge pieces are cut to about 1 1/4 by 3 5/8. So they'll leave just a little edge around this piece of basic white cardstock. So we're going to add a little Stampin' Seal to the edges. And then I'm just going to try to line it up here and get it so that it's, I got a gloober. I had to roll that back underneath there. So just kind of lining it up so that the edges are fairly even on that. And then I'm going to take the other little piece and put it on the opposite edge. I do find that when I'm lining up, sets of 3 like this, that it's often, I almost put it on there upside down, that it's often easier to put the 2 edge pieces on first and then center your piece in the middle, because if you don't get the edge pieces put on exactly straight, nobody will know because you're going to layer your centerpiece over the top of it and it'll cover it. So this piece is cut to about 2 1/2 by 3 5/8. And again, all the measurements are on my blog today, and I'll link up to the blog post so you can head over there and check it out after we get done here. I'll put it in the description of the video. And like I said, it's going to overlap here a little bit in the middle, which is just fine. And actually, I intended for it to do that because I didn't want to have any gaps in have an accidental oopsie where I cut something a little bit too small or didn't put it on there exactly straight, whatever. So I made it so that I would overlap just a hair on either side so I didn't have any white sticking out in the middle. So, all right, I'm going to put this on the card front. And again, just your standard card base, and got some Stampin' Dimensionals here that I have chopped in half, and we're going to stick those on the back of this piece of basic white cardstock. I don't know, I feel like I have a frog in my throat all of a sudden. Of course, I've been fine all day. I ate lunch kind of late, so I don't know if it's, whatever, causing trouble. But anyway, I'll try not to hack into the video directly, so I apologize if I'm like a little bit. So, all right, let's get this centered and straight and get it stuck on the card front. I did do one of these ahead of time because it's essentially the same exact thing. So one through the magic of television is already done. So I'm just going to do a second one here so you're not sitting and watching me stamp and color the same stuff over and over. I'm starting with Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I've got the little cup image here and a piece of basic white cardstock. And we're going to ink that up well with the Tuxedo Black ink. And I will stamp it here on the basic white cardstock. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the little whipped cream image, or the foam, or whatever it's called. I love this look and the smell of, you know, these lattes and whatever, but I actually don't drink them. So I don't even know what all the words are for them. I am very much a tea drinker, so I'm boring. I just like plain old black tea, and that's all that I really drink. So that and water. So, all right. Gonna grab a couple Stampin' Blends markers. I'm actually not gonna color the whipped cream at all because I kind of like the way it looked plain, so I just left it alone. I've got the light Crumb Cake Stampin' Blends marker, and that's what we're gonna color most of the cup in with. And again, the first layer that I do with the light marker is just to get color kind of all over the image. So I don't worry about, you know, making sure it's on there perfectly or has, you know, exactly the right shading. I just kind of get the color on first. And got that done. And then sometimes I take the dark version of the marker. This one I wanted to look a little bit more, I don't know, kind of what I envision a latte to be, which is got a lot more kind of cream or milk or whatever they put in it. I don't even know. Like I said, I'm bad about the coffee drinks. They smell good, but I just don't like the taste of them. So I wanted it to be a little lighter. So I just stuck with the light Crumb Cake Stampin' Blends marker, and I just basically put another layer of that marker right over the top of the first one. And hopefully you can see it in the video. It just adds like a little bit of shading to it. So, that is the nice thing about the alcohol markers, is you can layer color on top of color, so you don't necessarily have to use the dark version of the marker if you don't want to. So you can get the same effect. Obviously, it's not as dramatic as if you use the light and the dark together, but you can get the same effect by using the same color marker and just layering on another layer of ink. So got the light Granny Apple Green, and we're going to color in the little label here on the cup. And we're going to go right around the pumpkin. And it's okay if you don't color this, especially on the pumpkin, perfectly, because the color we're going to put on the pumpkin is going to cover it right up. So if you have a little boo-boo and accidentally color into the pumpkin, it's quite all right. Nobody will know but you and me. All right. So again, just kind of flooding the whole thing with color. And then I'm going to come in with the dark Granny Apple Green and add in a little bit of dark here around the edges and a little around the top and the bottom. There we go. And then I'm going to take my light Granny Apple Green and come here along the edge and just sort of blend it together, just pulling a little bit of the color. I'm not going all the way across the paper, just pulling it a little bit from the edge and kind of scribbling over it to blend in the edges here a little bit. All right, and then I'm just going to take my marker and just going to kind of lightly go over all of it again so that it's not quite as much of a stark contrast between the two different colors. And that's all that I'm going to do for the coloring on well, I got to color the pumpkin, so it's not all the coloring, but all the color I'm going to do on the green part of the label. Then I have got light and dark Cajun Craze, and again, just going to take my light first and color in the whole image. And then we'll come back in with the dark and add a little bit of the dark around the edges and the top and the bottom. So I'm going around the very edge of the pumpkin, kind of coloring in from the bottom a little bit, around the edge again, and a little bit from the top. There we go. Oop. And then I'm going to grab my light again and just sort of pull a little bit of that color to blend it just a little bit along the edges. And then just lightly go over the center of it again so that it's not quite as much of a stark contrast. If you like the little more contrast in there, you don't have to do that final coloring over the top of it like I did. I like to blend mine a little bit more, so that's how I do it. All right, let me grab the dies here. So again, we've got our die for the cup and then the die for the little whipped cream image. And I'm going to go run over here to my left and do my die cutting. So I'll be off screen for a second, but I'll be right back. There we go. Got the little die cut pieces, and let me get the dies put back on here before I lose track of everything. And I'll try not to throw anything on the floor, but I make no guarantees. All right, so I've got my 2 cups and the whipped cream that goes with them. And I'm going to grab some mini glue dots. I'm glad you're liking this. It is a really, really cute set, and I've been having a lot of fun coming up with other ideas to use for it, so I can't wait to play some more. And like I said, I love that it kind of goes across. You can use it for fall or Christmas or winter or whatever you want to use it for. So, all right, so I've got my first little mug, and I'm going to sort of put it up here. Kind of, I think I'll put it like that, make sure that my, probably going to go down just a hair. So a nice thing about glue dots is I can move them around a little bit. If I find that I don't quite love where I've put something, as long as I haven't smushed them down, I can usually move the glue dots around a little bit. And then I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots for the little whipped cream on here. And we're just going to set that kind of right over the top of the cup and smush that down. Then we're going to grab the other one. And again, same thing, just putting a little glue dots here on the back. Oh, thanks, Rosie. I appreciate that. And then we're going to just layer on the second little cup. Oh, actually, you know what? I put that on with dimensionals. Excuse me. I think I even have it listed incorrectly in my blog post. I'll probably have to go try to fix that. Goodness. All right. So dimensionals, disregard the glue dots. There's my little chopping the Stampin' dimensionals. Oh, you're right, Bonnie. I could have put Wink Stella on that, and I did not even think about it. Definitely, that would be cute. So I'll have to do that for next time. And I think that'd really be nice for anything Christmas related, because I like to add lots of sparkly things for Christmas. So, all right. Come on, fingers. There we go. And almost. Come on. Okay. Now we're going. All right, so I am putting this on with Stampin' Dimensionals. And again, I'm just going to kind of set it on here before I check to make sure that the top is where I want it to go, which it is. I wanted to make sure it was kind of on the card front and not too crazily crooked. Then I'm going to grab a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals and put them on the whipped cream. I want to be a little careful on this one and not put the dimensionals way down here towards the edge, just because I'm going to be kind of putting it right over the top of the cup on here, and I don't want to have to smush down the top of the cup because I accidentally put a dimensional in the wrong place. So, all right, so there we go. Got that done. Then I'm going to grab some of the twine. This is from the Natural Tones linen thread, and this is technically copper clay, and Night of Navy and Garden Green are the other ones in here, and it's part of the Winterly Treetop Suite, or Nests of Winter Suite, I guess is what it's called. But I thought it actually worked. It's not exactly the same color as Cajun Craze, but I thought it was close enough in this. And I was kind of happy that it wasn't exactly the same color, just because I think if I had made it, come on, fingers. If it actually was Cajun Craze, it probably wouldn't have shown up at all on the background papers. But I thought this let it stand out a little bit and wasn't just standard linen thread in the plain old brown color. Not that I don't love that linen thread, but this just added a little extra color to it. And again, Cajun Craze is the color that I'm using, or not Cajun Craze, Copper Clay is the color of thread that I'm using. And just going to trim down the ends a little bit. And where are my glue dots? Oh yeah, over here in the other mess that I've made. And then I'm going to grab a little glue dot, and we're just going to stick it right in the center of the bow, and then stick the bow to the card front. And I'm probably going to end up trimming, yeah, we need to trim that just a little bit more. Don't want those hanging over the edge of the card. There we go. All right, so we've got that smooshed down on there. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of crumb cake cardstock and get the sentiments. Now again, in this stamp set, there are all sorts of mix and match sentiments in here, which is awesome. So we've got, again, a wide variety of things that you can say with this one. And then there are the sentiments that you can cut with the dies as well. So it's a pretty awesome little set. Like I said, you can kind of mix and match your sentiments how you want to. You can stack them one on top of the other if you wanted to have it be a more rounded or square sentiment. I wanted mine kind of to be long and skinny so that it would fit on the card front the way I wanted it to. So I just stamped them side by side. I'm going to grab my embossing buddy and start with that. And that just takes kind of, it helps to minimize the amount of stray embossing powders that go flying all over your cardstock and sticking there. It kind of eliminates some of the oil because your fingers naturally have oil in them, so it kind of eliminates a little bit of the oil from the fingerprint spots on it, and then it just kind of helps so that nothing sticks where it shouldn't. So I've got the hello and then the fall that I'm stamping on here in Versamark ink. And I'm going to set that aside and grab my black embossing powder from the Basics Wow embossing powders. And if you haven't purchased these yet, like I said, I was a little on the fence about whether do I really need to get the new ones. They're much more intense and brighter in color than the old embossing powders used to be. So they're definitely worth the purchase, in my opinion. So, all right, let's do a little heat embossing. So I've got the Stampin' Up! Heat tool. There is a level 1 setting for drying, and level 2 setting is for heat embossing. So it does take just a second for the heat tool to heat up. So you can use the level 1 setting if you're doing something like watercoloring and want to speed up the drying process, or the level 2 setting is for heat embossing. So it just takes a second. So I usually yak through that while it's heating up a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it towards my project here and make sure that it's pointed away from my fingers so I hopefully don't burn them. And then once it turns kind of shiny and smooth, like you're seeing, well, hopefully seeing on the screen, you want to keep the heat tool moving so that you don't accidentally burn the embossing powder, because you can do that and it turns all icky and brown and not very nice. It's not shiny and pretty like this is. So I'll kind of hold it up here for a second. Hopefully you can see it. It's really good embossing powder. I'm really happy with it. So, all right. So I've got that done, and I'm just giving it a second to cool because, again, if you've used embossing powders before, you know that if it's too warm and you touch it, you can actually smear it, and then you have a total mess everywhere. Again, ask me how I know all these things because I've done it. So, all right. So let me grab the little die here from the Something Fancy dies, and I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. And I agree, Bonnie, embossing never does get old. It's always like, oh, that's so pretty. So, all right. Okay, there we go. And it's actually a beautiful, kind of, I would call it almost kind of semi-fall day. I know it's probably going to get hot again here, but in New Jersey, it's absolutely beautiful out today. It's cooler and humidity is down. And so I'm like, yay, maybe fall is here. But then I'm look at the calendar and I go, it's not here yet. we still got some more hot to go. So, all right. So on my sentiment, I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on the left side of it. And then I'm going to take my other little Stampin' Dimensional that I've got, and I'm going to tuck it right in here between the little cup and my bow. I was going to call it a knot, and I'm like, that's not a knot. So just wanted to make sure that the Stampin' Dimensional didn't end up landing on top of either of those and ended up with the sentiment looking kind of weird and lumpy and whatever. So just making sure that it is not. And actually I'm going to put, I think, a little glue dot on the edge of this too, just so that it stays flat on top of the little mug here. All right. See if I can get it lined up. I want most of the pumpkin to show on there, and then I want to make sure that it's fairly straight. Hopefully that is. And we'll just smush that down and call it good. The last thing that I added on it was a couple of the little neutrals adhesive back sequins. I'm using the copper ones and just putting a little bit, putting a couple of these little sequins over here near my sentiment. And I think copper is perfect for all things fall. So, although gold is good too, and so is black, and all sorts of, but for whatever reason, I tend to use those copper embellishments a ton during the fall. So, all right, inside of the card is pretty simple. I'm going to pull, if I can find everything again, pull my images for the cup. And, there's the pumpkin and the whipped cream. And we're just going to stamp that on the inside of the card and do a quick coloring on it again, and we'll be all done. So, all right, stamping the cup. And then we've got our little whipped cream. And it's pretty easy. I say that boldly as I'm lining it up. Pretty easy to line those up because you can see through it. And then, oh, thanks. Like I said, it's just Yes, I agree. All things pumpkin, I am all about that. I love, I actually, like I said, I don't like the coffee drinks and stuff, but anything else pumpkin and pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, pumpkin muffins, anything, I'm all about the pumpkin spice, whatever. Yep, that is all me. And the earlier the better, so I'm ready to bring it on now. So, although I know it's not quite as well, I think maybe they're starting to have more pumpkin spice stuff out now, but it's not always around this early. So, all right, same thing, coloring in. Got my light crumb cake marker. And again, if you wanted it to look a little more like coffee, you can use pecan pie or add in your dark crumb cake marker. If you want it to be really dark coffee, you could do early espresso on it. And all sorts of good coffee colors here. So again, I'm coming back in with the light Stampin' Blends and just adding that little bit of shading around the edge, like I did on the front of the card. And it's just little scribble marks, basically, that I'm making along the edges here, so nothing too complex. Just adds a little bit of shading to it. And then I've got my light granny apple green, and we're going to color in our little, I don't know, sleeve, label, whatever you want to call it. I think they're sleeves. I think it's supposed to try to keep you from scalding your fingers when you're drinking it. And again, light granny apple green, just going to fill in the whole space with that. And then come back with the dark granny apple green. And again, just going right around the very edges of it, kind of a little scribbling motion again with this. And grab the light, blend just the edges together. So blend in your light and dark so there's not quite so much of a stark contrast there. Same thing here. There we go. So once I get those blended, then I'm just going to lightly come across here with the light to kind of even out the color in the middle of it. There we go. And then I've got my light and dark Cajun Craze that I'm going to be coloring the little pumpkin in with. So again, just putting light Cajun Craze, this is definitely not crumb cake. Light Cajun Craze first, and then coming back in with the dark here around the edges of the little pumpkin. And then we'll blend the two together. Kind of again like I did with the green, just on the very edges doing a little bit of blending. And then just pull it lightly across so you don't have any stark lines in it, and that's it. So super quick and easy to color, and this is such a cute little set. If it's not on your list, it should be. And if it is on your list, yay. So again, like I said, it's available for demonstrators to pre-order now. If you're not a demonstrator, you can join now and add these new items to your starter kit. And then once you get your starter kit, because you're not going to be able to buy everything that you want with that, then you just get your 20% discount on anything that you purchase after that. And again, the entire catalog is open for the pre-order, so you can add as much as you can shove into the starter kit for the $125, and then pre-order everything you want after that. So, and you get your 20% discount. All right, so that is it for today. So again, card made ahead of time, card we made here today. Just a fun little set called More Than Autumn, and it'll be available to order beginning on the 4th of September for customers, or demonstrators can pre-order it now. Let me know if you have any questions about this. Again, I'll link up to the blog post, and that's got a PDF tutorial that's got all the information about how you can recreate it, more pictures, all that good stuff over on my blog, so feel free to stop over there. And let me know if you have questions about anything, and yeah, keep a lookout for the announcement for tomorrow. All right, talk with you all soon. Again, tentatively planning 2 o'clock Friday on YouTube, 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then again, next week, Tuesday, 2 o'clock Eastern time. And hopefully moving forward, we'll stick with the 2 o'clock time frame. So we will see you all soon.